The California Apartment Association has derailed a sweeping rent control bill that would have substantially lowered the state's rent cap. AB 1157 by Assemblyman Ash Kalra sought to lower allowable rent increases to just 2% plus inflation, eliminate exemptions for single-family homes and condominiums, and make California's rent and eviction restrictions permanent. Facing strong opposition from CAA, its allies, and landlords throughout the state, Kalra shelved the bill on April 29th, just before it was scheduled for a hearing in the Assembly Judiciary Committee, a committee that Kalra chairs. The bill's collapse began days earlier, at an April 24th hearing of the Assembly Housing and Community Development Committee. CAA and more than 150 landlords from the Bay Area filled the Capitol, wearing red shirts that said, "Don't kill housing, stop AB 1157." During testimony, CAA's chief lobbyist Deborah Carlton emphasized that the bill would worsen California's housing crisis.
Let me start by saying, in the words of the Legislative Analyst's Office, rent control discourages new housing, it does not resolve supply, and it exacerbates affordability.
Carlton also reminded lawmakers that the bill breaks a commitment made when California passed its statewide rent cap law in 2019.
The promise when 1482 was passed is that it would remain in effect for 10 years. The intent was to give the legislature time to pass laws to promote housing construction. Obviously, this breaks that promise.
Carlton also noted the impact on small, independent owners.
The single-family homeowners here today in red, they come from the Bay Area. They will not be able to continue with these types of rent caps and have indicated they will not.
Assemblywoman Buffy Wicks, a co-author of AB 1482, voiced serious concerns about revisiting key elements of the legislation.
I share the concern that we are renegotiating that deal, a deal that was really thoughtfully aimed at trying to stop the most egregious rent gouging while still trying to ensure that we weren't going to harm housing production.
She also warned about investor hesitation should the rent cap be lowered dramatically.
Is that going to spook folks who say, you know what, I'm just not going to build in California. Why would I when I can go somewhere else?
Also voicing concerns was Assemblywoman Ana Maria Avala Farias, saying the bill could cause more harm than good.
Rent-controlled units are often occupied by long-term tenants, regardless of tenants' changing financial situation. This locks out families that we are truly trying to serve. When people are not able to release an affordable housing unit and move up the housing economic ladder, we are holding up an inventory that other vulnerable families need.
Another opponent was Assemblywoman Lori D. Wilson, who emphasized basic economics.
The best way to suppress prices is to increase supply. Capping rent doesn't fix that. It exacerbates it.
She also warned that rent control sends the wrong message to housing providers and investors.
We are saying on a whole host of fronts that California is a risky investment. I can't support this going forward.
Although AB 1157 advanced out of the Housing Committee on a 7-5 vote, the hearing, along with CAA's testimony, thousands of letters, and the strong turnout from small property owners, took its toll. A few days later, before the bill was to be taken up by Kalra's own committee, the Assemblyman made an announcement.
AB 1157, Kalra, in consultation with the co-sponsors as well, will be withdrawn.
The defeat of AB 1157 shows what happens when California's rental housing providers speak up. Together, CAA's lobbying team and engaged members offered a 1-2 punch that stopped what was arguably the year's most threatening piece of legislation for the rental housing industry. Learn more about the California Apartment Association at its website, caanet.org.